Alright everyone, so today yung index nag-trade siya briefly, beneath 6,000 pero nag-close tayo around 6,020, no? So it will be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of days. Madi-defend ba yung 6,000 or are we gonna push lower? And if we do push lower, saan yung mga levels na pwede natin puntahan, no? Now, let's kick off with Converge. So itong Converge, around this area, no, nagko-consolidate tayo dito, nagkaroon ng announcement na magkakaroon nga sila ng buyback, di ba? Unfortunately, like I told yung mga Patreons ko nga, na even if may buyback, that's not a guarantee, natataas siya agad. So kunyari naipit kayo, for example, you bought somewhere here, there's no guarantee na porket may buyback, babalik agad dyan. Kasi syempre at the end of the day, hindi naman po natin alam kailan sila bibili, saan nila gustong bumili, at gaano karami ang bibilhin nila at any given time, regardless of the amount of money that they've allocated para dun sa buyback. Okay? Now, all that being said, in this candle here, we broke beneath two levels of support. We broke beneath 16.7 and 16.02. Okay? Let me zoom in lang a bit. Tapos, more or less, pumunta tayo sa next level of support around 15.54. Nabitin tayo ng konti pero we were almost there kanina. Okay? Now, kung kunwari from here, mabasag yung 14.54, yung next level natin will be 13.2 na. Okay? Pwedeng mangyari is, kunyari hindi nabasag tong 14.54, perhaps we get some type of pullback, maybe come back into this area here. Tapos kapag nag-hold yan, then likely mag-roll over tayo and babalikan na naman natin tong 14.54 na area. Okay? Ngayon kung kunwari, tumuloy siya. Let's say we move up, mabasag tong 16.7 altogether. Then that's an okay sign in the sense na maybe we come back to trading within this range between 16.7 to 18 pesos. Tapos kung mabasag natin yung 18 pesos, we can reassess things then. But for now, siguro naman it goes without saying na mas maganda hintayin muna natin mag-play out tong Converge kasi after all, bagong 52-week low tayo, and as the market tries to stabilize, tries to find saan yung equilibrium niya, we don't really want to be messing around trying to second guess na ito na ba yung bottom? Yan na ba yung bottom? Kasi kung nagkamali tayo, tayo yung mabobottom ng di oras. Next, tignan naman natin tong Metrobank or MBT, no? Now, tong MBT, nagkaroon tayo ng downtrend dito, di ba? Ito yung high, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low. Okay? Albeit, sabi nga natin, when price came back up, there were two potential scenarios. You can either view this na parang nag-range muna siya dito sa wider range na to, or baka nagbubuo tayo ng inverse head and shoulders na pattern. We don't know. Di ba? Kung patuloy na mahina yung index, then likely hindi mabubuo tong pattern na to. And if mabasag natin altogether tong 47.5, then what happens next is likely we dig deeper. Baka balikan natin yung support dito around 44.6 or at least come back dito sa white zone sa baba. Now, kung kunwari naman nag-hold to and we start pushing higher and mabuo nga yung inverse head and shoulders pattern, I don't think it's gonna happen within the next 2 days or 3 days, something like that. Usually, things like that take a little bit more time. So, pwede natin siyang obserbahan at hindi magmadali. Tapos, kapag medyo meron na tayong confirmation, saka natin isipin kung whether or not this is something that we want to be trading. Diba? But for now, just because bumalik siya dito sa area na to, it doesn't necessarily mean na dapat buy na agad. Kasi nga kahit na mag-bounce tayo dito, pwede tayong mauntog sa mga lows na to eh. So you need to be very careful, lalo na given yung current market conditions natin. Now, kung from here, sabihin natin, umangat to, mabasag natin tong 55, mabuo nga yung pattern, then that's good. Next level of resistance will be 57.10. But until then, siguro konting iwas-iwas muna kasi ayaw natin na tayo yung machop-chop kapag maipit lang tayo sa loob ng range na to. Next, tignan naman po natin tong SHLPH. Now, SHLPH, nag-breakdown tayo sa candle na to. Parang, parang coloring book, parang paint by numbers yung sinasabi natin. We broke beneath these levels of support Price came back, mostly tagged that area, broke down. Ito na yung naging next level natin. Price came back once again, tagged that area, tapos yun na naman yung nag-act as resistance, and then we push lower, and then we actually broke beneath yung next level of support natin dito at 18 pesos. Okay? Now, bukas, maaaring mag-open to above 18. We don't know. But let's say na it doesn't and we continue to push lower. Yung next level of support natin will be at 17.5 followed by 16.46. It's not looking very good, no? Kasi itong buong up move na to, nakain na eh. Diba? Again, ito na naman tayo na usually yung mga ganitong inefficient na moves, binabawi at binabawi ng market in one way, shape, or form. It's just the way that it tends to happen every so often. Okay, so let's say na kunwari naman nag-hold to at mag-open tayo above 18, or even if we don't, let's say we open here but we trade up and we close above tong 18, then the possibility exists na mag-trade muna tayo sa loob ng range na to, but I don't think that it would be a nice range to trade simply because meron nang pwedeng paguntugan ng price dyan at dito. Kumbaga marami lang sakit ng ulo. 'Di ba? For now, assuming that you are bullish ng SHLPH for one reason or another, then you would want to wait for the chart to confirm that something else is happening, that something different is happening. Kasi wala pang talagang sign of bullishness na nagaganap eh. Etong ganitong move, I would argue na yes, it's bullish, pero yun nga, since the tendency is madalas siya nababawi, ang hirap niyang i-trade. 'Di ba? So, I would wait na may mag-develop na structure kahit sa higher time frames para lang meron kayong pwedeng sandalan. But for me, personally, I don't see anything that entices me just yet dito sa SHLPH. Siguro, in the next couple of weeks, let's see how this develops. Kung gumanda, we'll discuss this again. Next, tignan naman po natin tong BDO. Now, tong BDO, we've come back and tagged yung demand zone natin dito. But again, similar sa mga karamihan na tinignan natin today, I'm not really enticed to trade it. I'm not very eager to jump in. Siguro, if we can print some type of bullish structure here na pwede nating sandalan, then maybe pwede natin siyang sakyan for a potential quick trade. But as it is right now, there's really not much to do. Yes, maybe it bounces, maybe it fills this gap, pero the likelihood is since nag-breakdown tayo, price might come back, tag this area here, mag-action as resistance, then we push lower. Now, kung tuluyang mabasag tong white zone, the next level of support that we're looking at is around 109.3. Kapag mabasag pa yan, then baka balikan natin yung mga lows na naiwan dito before. Now, let's say the market suddenly rallies. Ano yung dapat natin tignan? If price can come back, break above tong 123, break above tong 127, then I think we likely need to sit up and take notice and see what type of structure is forming. Kasi baka from there, we might push towards our next level of resistance at 133.5, followed by 137.5. But until then, I guess kung meron kayong value area na pinag-aabangan nito, pinagplanuhan nyo na, then by all means, go ahead. But otherwise, kung wala naman kayong plano, wala naman kayong hinihintay, maybe exercise a little bit more patience and wait until medyo gumanda yung market conditions before coming back to look at BDO again. After all, it does tend to mirror yung index quite closely. And then finally, let's take a quick look at SSP or SFA Semicon, no? Now, itong SFA Semicon actually nag-form to ng napakalaking cup and handle pattern, no? And that's why when this broke out, diba, a lot of traders took notice, breakout traders came in, diba? Kasi nga, we broke out of a huge pattern and a lot of people were excited, tapos may volume pa. But this is a prime example of why I don't trade breakouts, particularly kapag hindi maganda yung market conditions. Kasi usually, pwede siyang maging fake out. In fact, if you take yung statistics ng breakouts, most breakouts fail regardless of market condition. Diba? Yes, may market conditions na mas madalas siyang mag-fail, pero even at the best conditions, maraming breakouts na nagiging fake outs. So I tend to be very careful. I want to see a nice pullback to an area that I personally find interesting. before I jump in. In this case, diba, nagkaroon nga tayo ng pullback pero sumobra. Talagang tuloy-tuloy siya. Binasag niya tong 1.65 na level. Binasag niya tong 1.54. Binasag niya pati tong 1.47 before finding support dito around 1.4. Okay? Now, tomorrow, let's say na mag-continue to, magpatuloy siya bumaba. The next level of support that we're looking at is dito na around 1.3 hanggang mga 1.28 na area. Kung pati yun mabasag pa, then I feel like medyo delikado na talaga. Baka we come back and fill this gap na naiwan natin from before, no? Now, let's say naman na lumaban. Kahit na lumaban siya, personally, I wouldn't be very excited to try and go for a bounce play if only because nakikita naman natin lahat ng support na binasag niya. So, the expectation is these levels will turn into resistance. And ang lapit ng mga resistance So, based on how I personally trade, okay, mahihirapan ako kasi yung next level na kung saan ko gusto magbenta will be right there. Parang halos wala akong kikitain. Okay, now, you could trade differently and kung para sa inyo, pasok to sa bounce play parameters nyo, then by all means, go ahead. But for me, medyo ingat-ingat lang. Basta key level, if 1.28 to 1.30 breaks, then medyo delikado na talaga tayo, no? Let's say naman na tuluyan siyang mag-reverse. Okay? Let's say we reverse all the way, we come back, break above 1.75 again. Then what you want to look at is the next level of resistance at 1.8. But medyo mahirap yata yun kasi I'm sure marami ring naipit dito. So if price does decide to push higher, those people might decide to come out, which might cause strong area of resistance to form somewhere around this area here. So guys, dito po nagtatapos yung video natin, no? I hope nakatulong po to sa inyo kahit konti and may natutunan kayo kahit papano. And if so, I would really appreciate it if you give this video a like and consider subscribing to my channel. And as always guys, maraming salamat po sa panonood. I really appreciate it. Good luck and happy trading!